So a lot of people don't know this about me, but I have a twin sister. And I would, as a kid, drag my twin sister around the neighborhood, gather up all of the kids, and bring them back to my backyard so that I could tell them how we were going to play. I put on mock weddings. A couple of the neighborhood kids are married to each other. I put on plays, directed them in plays. We did Barbies, we did night games. The fun had to be had, and if I didn't do it, no one else was gonna do it, so I made it happen. My scheming sometimes got me into a little bit of trouble. Regular basis, I would hear from kids and other adults, Whitney is so bossy. Little girls aren't supposed to be bossy. Little girls are supposed to be quiet and listen, and that was not me. But I can't lie, every time I heard that, Whitney is bossy, I felt like I needed to kind of hide that part of myself, push it deep down, because nobody was gonna like me if I kept being bossy. Fast forward a little bit to high school. I was in a class where we were required to do a service project. And we were just assigned a group. It wasn't people I knew very well. They were just randos. And yeah, the worst. So I didn't choose the science project. I didn't care about it. Or I'm sorry, the service project. I didn't care about that. So I just let them pick. And we decided we were gonna go do a science experiment at an elementary school. And I was like, well, I'm comfortable in front of a crowd, so I should be the presenter, obviously. And so I get in there and I get in front of the class and I start talking to the kids and I'm working them through this science experiment. I don't know what this science experiment was about, don't remember that. But it seemed to be going well. We got through it, made it happen. And then on the way home, my group members started telling me, Whitney, the kids did not understand one word you were saying. You used big words, they didn't understand you, you didn't dumb it down to their level. How do you dumb down a science experiment? Science words are science words. I don't know how to swap those out for something understandable. And so at that moment, I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm not good with kids. Working with kids in my future, that's not gonna be me. Went off to college with a desire to be a performer. I wanted to do musical theater. And halfway through my first year of college, my professor sits me down and he says, maybe you should change majors. What? That's not nice. Luckily, I met a super cute boy who was finished with his part of that college, and he was graduating, and so instead of changing majors, I'll just drop out and get married. So I did, and I had a baby super fast, and then I had to work and help my husband finish his bachelor's degree, so I worked multiple jobs. I sold cell phones. I was an excellent salesperson. Most people don't know this, but like theater training makes you a really good salesperson. It gives you this ability to kind of match the person that you're talking to, and then they trust you and want to buy things. And so I sold cell phones. I opened checking accounts. I managed a jewelry counter at a retail store. And all of those things in common, I somehow ended up in charge. Just kind of worked my way up there. I was in charge. When my husband finally graduated with his bachelor's degree, I was ready to be a stay-at-home mom. That's what I wanted. Did not want to work anymore. I wasn't good at anything. Professor told me to change majors. So I was a stay-at-home mom, and we moved up to Logan, and I had 2 more kids, and then started to get a little restless. Because do you know who you cannot boss around? Toddlers. And so by chance I saw a Facebook post saying that there was a children's theater company that was looking for a teacher. And I thought, well, I'm terrible with kids, but I know my way around a theater. So I looked into the job a little bit more, and it turns out this company, they do everything for you. They plan the lessons, they do the blocking, they do all the things, and then they hand it to you and they say, here, teach this. And I was like, well, that's easy. I can do that. I can follow instructions. So I taught up with kids for a year, my first year, and watched the kids build confidence and grow and change and also start loving theater too. And I thought, oh my gosh, I forgot how much I needed theater in my life. So I started volunteering for a local theater company, and I did anything that I could, like costumes or programs or anything, and then eventually became the secretary on the board. And then they were looking for someone to direct the children's summer camp, and I was like, well, I would actually have to like put in the work and do stuff. Like I'd have to manage it and come up with the lessons and block it and be creative. Can I do that? So, I mean, clearly I'd like to try things. So I tried it. I was like, well, I'll try it. And that first year we had about 50 kids, and they seemed to like it, had a good time. The second year we had about 60 kids. And the third year there was 100 kids that wanted to do it, and we were able to have 2 casts. And the kids just kept coming back. They loved it. And turns out I think I'm good with kids. Not only was I good with kids, but I was also pretty creative. The shows were good. I challenged their acting. I still used big words. Kids like to be talked to like you're their peer. So I had figured that part out. I'm good with kids, I'm creative, I'm talented. But that bossy thing just kept coming back. You're too bossy. Nobody's gonna like you. You're not a good leader. And it just kept coming back. Recently, I was having a conversation with a friend about making plans, going to a movie, something that's pretty simple. And I was, did you check show times? Which theater are we going to? Is there seats left? Did you buy seats? Ugh, just let me do it. Okay. So I'm on my computer, buying the seats, and I thought, oh, you are so bossy. So I texted her and I said, I'm sorry. I kind of just like took this over. I'm so bossy and I'm sorry. And she said, I don't think you're bossy. I think you're admirably assertive. The first time in my entire life, someone told me that my bossiness was a good thing. My bossiness has gotten me to where I am. I'm in charge of a theater company. I run a really incredible kids camp. This year we have 600 kids signed up. So that's me, imperfectly bossy and admirably assertive.